There is a kind of tiredness that sleep cannot fix. You feel it in your chest, in the tight knot behind your eyes, in the way your mind races even when your body begs to rest. It is not the tiredness of the body alone. It is the exhaustion of being everywhere except where you are. You scroll through your phone while eating breakfast. You plan tomorrow while brushing your teeth. You replay yesterday's conversation while walking to your car. And somewhere in all that noise, you disappear. You become a ghost in your own life, haunted by thoughts that never stop moving. If this feels familiar, take a slow breath right now. Let it out gently. You are not broken. You are simply ready to come home. Today, I want to share with you one of the simplest and most profound practices I have ever known. It requires no special equipment, no subscription, no guru, and no mountaintop. It asks only that you place one foot in front of the other with full awareness. It is called mindful walking, and it has the quiet power to bring you back to yourself, one step at a time. This is not exercise for the body, though your body will thank you. This is medicine for the soul. It is a way of walking that transforms the ground beneath your feet into sacred space, and the journey from your front door to the mailbox into a pilgrimage of presence. In a world that worships speed, mindful walking is an act of gentle rebellion. It says, I am here, I am alive, and that is enough. Let me begin with a truth that might surprise you. Walking is something we do thousands of times each day, yet most of us have forgotten how to truly walk. We have turned it into a task, a means to an end, a way to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. We walk while thinking about meetings, groceries, deadlines, and disappointments. We walk while our minds sprint ahead or lag behind, anywhere but in our feet. And so we miss it. We miss the miracle of motion, the softness of breath, the quiet hum of life moving through us. The Zen masters understood this. They taught that every activity, no matter how ordinary, could become a doorway to awakening if done with full attention. Sweeping the floor, washing the dishes, walking down a garden path. These were not chores to rush through. They were opportunities to taste the infinite in the ordinary. There is a story I return to often when I think about this practice. It comes from a time centuries ago, in a monastery nestled between misty mountains and ancient pine trees. A young monk arrived there full of ambition and spiritual hunger. He had read all the sacred texts. He could recite sutras by heart. He came to the master expecting teachings of cosmic depth, secret mantras, and profound meditations that would unlock enlightenment. On his first morning, the master took him outside and said simply, "Walk with me." They walked together in silence through the monastery garden. The young monk waited for the teaching to begin. He waited for wisdom. But the master only walked slowly, deliberately, as if each step were the only thing in the universe. After some time, the monk could not contain himself. "Master," he asked, "when will you teach me the way to enlightenment?" The old master stopped, turned, and smiled. "I have been teaching you since we began walking." The young monk was confused. "But you have said nothing," he protested. The master nodded. "Exactly. I have shown you everything." He gestured to the path beneath their feet, to the soft wind moving through the trees, to the morning light catching on dew-soaked leaves. When you walk, just walk. When you breathe, just breathe. When you are here, be here completely. That is the whole teaching. Everything else is commentary. The monk stood in silence, humbled. He had been so busy seeking enlightenment that he had missed the ground beneath his feet. He had been so focused on becoming peaceful that he had forgotten to simply be. And in that moment, something shifted. He took one step, then another, and for the first time in years, he was fully present. He felt the earth solid and kind beneath him. He heard the gravel crunch softly under his sandals. He noticed the coolness of the morning air filling his lungs. And in that noticing, there was peace. Not the peace that comes from achieving something. The peace that comes from finally arriving in the only moment that has ever existed. Now, take a slow breath with me. Notice how the air moves into your body, how your chest expands and releases. This breath you are taking right now is the same breath that has been moving through human lungs for thousands of years. You are breathing the same air that ancient monks breathed as they walked their temple paths. You are part of an unbroken chain of presence, of people who have chosen, again and again, to return to this moment. Mindful walking is your birthright. It belongs to you not because you have earned it, but because you are alive. And that is miracle enough. So what is mindful walking, really? At its heart, it is the practice of bringing your full attention to the simple act of walking. It is noticing the sensations in your feet, the rhythm of your breath, the movement of your body through space. It is walking not to arrive somewhere, but to be fully present in the act of walking itself. It is slow, it is deliberate, it is intimate. You are not trying to get anywhere. You are simply meeting yourself, step by step, breath by breath. You are learning to walk as if the earth is sacred, because it is. You are learning to move as if your body is a temple, because it is. And you are learning to live as if this moment matters more than any destination, because it does. This practice is not about perfection. It is not about doing it right. It is about doing it at all. You will get distracted. Your mind will wander. You will think about dinner, about emails, about conversations you wish you had handled differently. That is not failure. That is simply what minds do. The practice is in noticing when you have drifted and gently bringing yourself back. Not with judgment, not with frustration, but with the same kindness you would offer a small child learning to walk for the first time. You would not scold them for stumbling. You would simply help them find their balance again. This is how we treat ourselves in mindful walking. With patience, with compassion, with the understanding that every step is a new beginning. Let me offer you a simple way to begin, something you can practice today, right now, in whatever space you find yourself. Find a place where you can walk for at least 10 or 15 steps without interruption. It does not need to be beautiful. It does not need to be quiet. A hallway in your home will do, a sidewalk outside your door, a quiet corner of a park. Anywhere your feet can meet the ground is enough. Stand still for a moment before you begin. Feel your feet on the earth. Notice the weight of your body, the way gravity holds you gently in place. Take 3 slow breaths, feeling the rise and fall of your chest. Let your shoulders drop. Soften your gaze. You are not going anywhere. You are arriving here. Now, begin to walk. But walk more slowly than you think you should. Half the speed feels about right. And as you walk, bring your attention fully to your feet. Notice the sensation of lifting your right foot. Feel the shift in your weight to your left side. Notice the movement of your leg through the air. Feel the moment your right foot makes contact with the ground again. The heel first, then the ball of the foot, then the toes. Notice how your weight transfers from left to right. Then lift your left foot and begin again. Each step is a complete cycle of sensation. Lifting, moving, placing, shifting. Over and over, this ancient rhythm that your body knows by heart. At first this might feel awkward. You might feel self-conscious, especially if you are walking where others can see you. You might feel impatient, like you are wasting time. That is normal. Our culture has trained us to believe that speed equals value, that efficiency is next to godliness, that slowing down is lazy. But I invite you to consider another possibility. What if slowing down is the most productive thing you could do? What if presence is the highest form of efficiency? What if the time you spend walking mindfully is not time wasted, but time reclaimed from the chaos of a distracted life? You are not falling behind. You are catching up with yourself. As you continue walking, You might notice that your mind begins to quiet. Not because you are forcing it to be quiet, but because you are giving it something real to focus on. Your mind is like a puppy. It needs something to do or it will chew up the furniture of your peace. When you give it the task of noticing each step, each breath, each sensation, it settles, it focuses. And in that focus, there is relief. You are no longer drowning in thoughts. You are anchored in sensation, in the simple, undeniable reality of your body moving through space. And in that anchoring, something opens. A spaciousness, a clarity, a quiet joy that does not depend on anything going right. It is simply the joy of being alive, awake, and aware. Sometimes as you walk, you will notice beauty you had overlooked before. The way sunlight filters through leaves and dances on the pavement. The sound of birds calling to one another in the early morning. The smell of rain on concrete, or fresh-cut grass, or someone's kitchen window open to the street. These small wonders have always been here. You have simply been too busy to notice them. Mindful walking is like cleaning the windows of perception. Suddenly the world is brighter, more vivid, more alive. And you realize that you have been walking through a miracle every single day without seeing it. There is a deeper layer to this practice, one that reveals itself slowly over time. When you walk mindfully, you begin to notice patterns. You notice how you hold tension in your shoulders without realizing it. You notice the habitual tightness in your jaw, the shallow breath you have been taking for years. You notice the stories your mind tells you, the same anxious loops, the same old grievances. And in noticing, you gain the power to choose differently. You can release your shoulders. You can soften your jaw. You can take a deeper breath. You can let the story go, just for this one step, and then the next, and then the next. This is how transformation happens. Not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 small choices to return to presence, to return to peace, to return to yourself. Take a moment now. Close your eyes if you are in a safe place to do so. Bring your attention to your breath. Feel it moving in and out, steady and sure, like waves on a shore. You do not have to change it. You do not have to fix it. Just notice it. And as you notice, feel how it connects you to the world around you. The oxygen you breathe was once part of a tree, a blade of grass, a floating cloud. You are not separate from the earth. You are woven into it, breath by breath, step by step. This is what mindful walking teaches us. We are not isolated individuals rushing through a hostile world. We are part of a living, breathing whole. And when we walk with awareness, we remember that belonging. I want to share something that might shift the way you see this practice. Mindful walking is not just for calm days or peaceful parks. It is especially powerful in the middle of chaos. When you are feeling overwhelmed, when anxiety is rising, when the world feels too loud and too fast, you can stop wherever you are and take 3 mindful steps. That is all. 3 steps where you give your full attention to the sensation of your feet on the ground. 3 steps where you breathe consciously. 3 steps where you choose presence over panic. And in those 3 steps, you reclaim your power. You remind your nervous system that you are safe. You interrupt the cycle of stress and fear. You become the calm in the center of the storm. I have walked mindfully through hospital hallways while waiting for difficult news. I have walked mindfully through crowded airports when flights were delayed and frustration was thick in the air. I have walked mindfully in the rain, in the snow, in the blazing heat of summer afternoons. And every time, it has brought me back to something essential. It has reminded me that no matter what is happening around me, I have this moment. I have this breath. I have this one step. And that is enough. It is always enough. There is a question people often ask when they first encounter this practice. They ask, how can something so simple make a real difference? How can walking slowly change anything about my life? And I understand the question. We live in a world that values complexity, that believes real solutions must be difficult, expensive, or require expert intervention. But the deepest truths are always simple. Love, breath, presence. These are not complicated. They are only difficult because we have forgotten them. Mindful walking works not because it is sophisticated, but because it is true. It works because it aligns you with the fundamental rhythm of life itself. Walking, breathing, being. These are the pillars of existence. When you honor them, you honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, everything changes. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine two people walking down the same street on the same morning. The first person is lost in thought. They are replaying an argument from yesterday, worrying about a meeting later today, composing a text message in their head. Their body is walking, but they are not present in it. They do not notice the maple tree in full autumn flame, the child laughing on the sidewalk, the smell of coffee drifting from a nearby cafe. They arrive at their destination, tense, preoccupied, and vaguely dissatisfied, though they cannot say why. The second person walks the same street, but they are fully present. They feel the cool breeze on their skin. They notice the colors, the sounds, the play of light and shadow. They smile at the child. They breathe in the coffee-scented air. They arrive at their destination feeling calm, grounded, and grateful. Same street, same morning, two entirely different experiences. The only difference is presence. This is the gift of mindful walking. It does not change the external circumstances of your life. It changes you. And when you change, everything changes. You become less reactive, less anxious, less caught in the grip of thoughts that do not serve you. You become more available to joy, to beauty, to connection. You become more yourself. Not the self that is constructed from other people's expectations, but the self that exists beneath all that noise. The self that is quiet, spacious, and whole. As we move toward the close of our time together, I want to invite you to make a commitment, not a big one, not a vow that will add pressure to your already full life. Just a small, gentle commitment to try this practice once today. Just once. Find 5 minutes. Walk slowly. Notice your feet. Breathe. That is all. Do not judge whether you are doing it right. Do not expect fireworks. Just show up. Place one foot in front of the other with full attention. And notice what happens. Notice how it feels in your body. Notice what it does to the quality of your thoughts. Notice whether, even for just a moment, you feel more at home in your own life. And if you find value in it, try it again tomorrow. And the next day. Not because you have to, not because I told you to, but because it feels good, because it reminds you of something you had forgotten, because it brings you peace. Over time, this small practice can become a refuge, a place you can always return to when life gets too loud or too hard or too much, a place where there are no demands, no expectations, no need to be anything other than what you are. Just you, just breath, just this one step, and then the next. Here's a revised version of your ending, trimmed to exactly 100 words, preserving the tone and flow of the original. I've practiced mindful walking for years, and still, I learn each time. I still get distracted, still rush, and still return. That is the practice, not perfection, but kindness toward our humanness. In that return, I find peace, not as a destination but as a way of walking. The path and the goal are the same. May you find this peace in your own steps. Begin simply, one foot, then the other. The earth will hold you. Your breath will guide you. With each step, remember, you are already here, already home, already whole. Today, may you walk in peace.